Guys, welcome back to XRP Insider Network, where we connect the dots between global macro moves and what it means for your XRP before the mainstream catches on. Let's get into it. Here's what most people watching XRP coverage today are getting completely wrong. They're staring at the price chart like it's the whole story. Meanwhile, the actual story, the one that determines whether XRP becomes foundational infrastructure for the global financial system or just another speculative asset, is being written in boardrooms, central bank meetings, and regulatory corridors that most retail investors never think to look at. That's exactly what we're breaking down today. And I'll tell you right now, by the end of this video, you're going to see XRP through a completely different lens than when you clicked in. Not a trader's lens, an architect's lens, because that's what this moment calls for. Here's the common belief in the market right now. People think XRP is gaining traction because crypto sentiment is improving broadly. Rising tide, all boats, that kind of thinking. And yes, sentiment is shifting. But that explanation is dangerously incomplete. It misses the structural reason why XRP specifically is positioned differently than every other digital asset in this space. So let me show you what the smart money is actually watching, because it has nothing to do with which coin is trending on social media this week. The contrarian take, and this is the one that separates the investors who will look back on this period with satisfaction from the ones who will wonder what happened, is that XRP's current moment is not a market cycle story. It is an infrastructure story. And infrastructure stories don't play out in weeks. They play out in years. But here's the critical part. The entry point for an infrastructure story is always before the infrastructure is finished, not after. The investors who positioned in internet backbone companies in the mid-90s didn't wait for broadband to reach every household. They saw the architecture being laid and they acted. That is exactly the type of positioning we are discussing today. Now here's the proof. Ripple was not built to compete with Bitcoin for digital gold status or with Ethereum for smart contract dominance. It was built with one very specific mandate from its earliest days: solve the correspondent banking problem. Right now, cross-border payments move through a system called SWIFT that was architected in the 1970s. Trillions of dollars sit locked in Nostro and Vostro accounts around the world, essentially cash parked as collateral just to keep international transactions flowing. Ripple's solution, using XRP as a bridge asset, eliminates the need for that pre-funded liquidity. That's not a white paper promise anymore. That is a documented, live-tested value proposition that central banks and payment corridors around the world have been quietly evaluating. When institutions talk about the cost of moving money internationally, they are talking about Ripple's exact problem statement. That alignment is not accidental. It is architectural. But let me show you something most people are completely missing. And this is where the institutional layer gets really important. The conversation around regulatory clarity for XRP has shifted in tone at the institutional level. For years, the legal uncertainty surrounding XRP's status functioned like a pressure valve. It kept institutional capital on the sideline even when the technology case was strong. Think of it like a highway that was perfectly engineered but had a toll booth blocking the on-ramp. The vehicles were ready, the road was ready, but the gate wasn't open. What we're now seeing is evidence that the gate is being evaluated for removal. And institutional capital does not wait for the gate to fully open. It prepositions at the on-ramp. The volume behavior, the stability during broader market stress, and the pattern of accumulation without corresponding retail hype, these are the fingerprints of strategic positioning, not emotional trading.